New patch for LOTRO update 42.4 was released today on Wednesday, January 29th, and in this video we're going to look at all the new changes, although most of these I already covered in yesterday's Bullroarer report video. There are still some new things and some things I didn't cover in depth that we'll take a look at in this video. Now, before covering the new stuff, I'm just going to quickly mention the things that already got covered yesterday. There's a change to the base slots you have depending on your type of account, as well as the Moria Lothlorien instances got a lot of changes and fixes, but I did cover those yesterday. If you want to read the notes, just pause the video or simply look at the patch notes in the description. Once again, we have the Ill Omens event returning with new Portents. These Portents will also be available via delvings in the future. The Ill Omens skirmish event begins at 10 AM Eastern on January 30th and runs until 3 AM on February 19th. And once again, something of a tradition, every level cap at least once per Ill Omens, we do get these Portents as rewards. So these are going to be rewards once again this year for completing the main quest of the Ill Omens event. There's of course the DPS Portent, 25% damage for 15 seconds. They all have a 10-minute cooldown. There's the Portent of Deftness, which negates 20% damage for 15 seconds. And there's the Portent of Vitality, which gives you 15% plus morale for 30 seconds. And every 1 second it restores 10% of your max morale, and that lasts for 2 seconds. There's basically an increase in morale and a 20% heal over 2 seconds. So obviously, as a DPS player, you would like to get the damage Portent. This is good for everyone, but especially tanks, of course. And the healing one is, of course, nice to have as well. But seeing as they all bind to account on acquire, the best move would simply be to complete it on 3 characters and just send it around to your characters. Keep sharing the Portents. That way you don't have to spend too much time doing the event. Just do it on your 3 characters that I guess deal the most damage, so it's faster. And after that you'll just pick one of each and have them for every character. This is especially useful if you're a player who likes to raid and do hard content. These are really useful as panic buttons. Of course, the extra DPS cooldown from the Portent of Strength, but also these for any player, like in any content, any hard content. There will be times where you take a lot of damage, where the Portents will be really nice to have. And I figured I would just take a quick look at Ill Omens on the wiki, just to explain quickly for those, there may be some people who don't know what this event does. But this special event is every year, and it starts tomorrow, where every day you get a quest to kill Harbingers of the Dead, who appears in skirmishes. And keep in mind, you can actually run the skirmishes at level 142, because the Harbingers has to be within 8 levels of your character in order for it to complete your quest. So the quickest way to do this is just launch level 142 and just run quickly through it. So the way this works is you go to Nedda Pinleaf, which can be found at several skirmish camps. The most common one that most people use is outside South Bree, the South Bree Gate skirm camp. But you go to Nedda Pinleaf, then you pick up the skirmish Ill Omens quest. You have to complete 10 of the following assault quests. So there are 4 different days that rotate, and this is one quest, this is another, and so on. There's 4 different ones. Basically, during this event, you have to complete these quests 10 times to complete the quest. And once you complete your quest, you get your Portent. You may also notice that you don't have to complete all of them every day. Like this day, you only have to complete 4 of these. This day, 4 of these. This day, 3 of these. And this day, 4 of these. So it's not all of them. So you kind of want to pick and choose which ones you think are faster and just run those. Also keep in mind, in some of these, the Harbinger will spawn way before the skirmish itself finishes. So you just want to keep going until you see the Harbinger pop up. Go and kill the Harbinger, leave instance, and start the next one. Do this on 10 different days, and you're done. So my advice would be to pick 3 different characters, run this skirmish event on those 3 characters, get one of the Portents each, and then you're set. Just share them between your characters. The two legendary servers, Mordor for EU and Angmar for US, are currently on level 60, but in these patch notes we get the confirmation for when we will advance to level 65. April 30th this year, the legendary servers will push to level 65 cap, and that will of course take us from Moria and Lothlorien and take us east into Dol Guldur and unlocking Mirkwood and its content. This will of course also open the Dol Guldur instances, Ward Pens, Sword Halls, Summit Ghoul, Dungeons of Dol Guldur, and Barad Guldur. A couple of months later, on June 4th, you will see the In Their Absence cluster being available to play. And the In Their Absence cluster will of course be Lost Temple, Sarisurma, North Cotton Farm, and Stoneheight. So from Angmar and Mordor, level 65 cap April 30th, and In Their Absence cluster available June 4th. We also had a few changes to the Ikorban Valley 6-mans. For Nergrimbar the Restless Tomb, Boss 1 would sometimes wrap back to tier 5 of his frustration buff. That has been fixed, it will no longer happen. And for Tul Sakana the Well of Forgetting, there's been quite a few animation fixes for the enemies, making it easier for us to see which attacks they're using, etc. A minor fix to the Smite on Boss 2, and also on Boss 2 on the last final phase. If you were to wipe there, sometimes the ads would stay and not despawn. That has now been fixed. If you enjoyed the video, please consider dropping a like and subscribing, as it really helps out the channel. And if you like LOTRO, I would really recommend joining my Discord servers. You can also support me directly through my Ko-fi website. If you're playing or looking to play Lord of the Rings online, there is one place you need to be. The Ghyniverse is a Discord server created for the community of the players of Lord of the Rings Online. The server is getting close to 7,000 members, and in this server you'll find tons of helpful information. There's monthly giveaways, easy access to patch notes, you can keep up with my YouTube videos, my streams. If you're a streamer, you can ask for the streamer role and you can announce your streams in the other stream channel. There are discussion channels for pretty much everything, every class, monster players. But the best thing about this server is probably the Gearing Resources tab, where you can find anything from trait lines for every class, every build. There are stat goals, where you can find out what stats you should aim for on your characters. Really helpful information about drop rates from instances, as well as screenshot from all the new loot that appears in the game. If you enjoy LOTRO, you should definitely consider joining this server, and hopefully I'll see you in Middle Earth. If you were part of the Ghyniverse already, you might have noticed that another tab appeared at the top, the LFF server. This server is a brand new server that I created, the LFF Ghyniverse. In this server, you can select which servers you want to keep up with, and once you select your server, say you select Arkenstone, you will see the LFF, the kinship advertisement, looking for kinship and trade channels, and there's also voice channels if people want to use those. The LFF channel is basically a looking for fellowship channel where people can post if they need players for the runs, and this way people don't have to be logged into the game to see the chat. They can just instead get a notification on their Discord. There's also a kinship advertisement page where kins can post their kinship advertisement and have people join their kins. And you can also post in the looking for kinship chat if you're looking for a kinship, but make sure to take a look in the kinship advertisement first and look through all the kin to find a suitable kin for you. There's also a trade channel if people want to buy or sell stuff that you can use. Hopefully you'll consider joining this server to bring the community even more together, not just in the game, but also outside of the game.